Hello. In this video, I read out the Japanese folktales in English. I would be happy if you could press the channel subscription and thumbs up now. Let's begin. The town and the fields were enveloped in green leaves. Everywhere. It was a calm, moonlit evening. An old woman lived on the outskirts of a quiet town, and she was sitting alone under her window, working with her needles. The light of her lamp lit up the surroundings peacefully. As the old woman was already quite old, her eyes were blurred and she had difficulty threading the needle, so she repeatedly peered into the lamplight and spun a thin thread with her wrinkled fingertips. The moonlight was a pale blue, illuminating the world. The trees, houses, and hills all seemed immersed in the warm water. As she worked, the old woman fantasized about her own youth, her faraway relatives, and her granddaughter who lived far away. All that could be heard was the clicking, 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 clicking of the alarm clock on the shelf, and all that was still was silence. From time to time, coming from the busy, bustling streets of town, you could hear the voice of a vendor or a faint rumble like the sound of a passing train. The old woman was sitting there in a daze, feeling calm as if she was dreaming, unable to even remember where she was or what she was doing. At this moment, she heard a knock on the door outside. The old woman turned her now quite distant ears towards the source of the sound. There was no way that anyone would be coming to see her right now. She thought that it must have been the sound of the wind. The wind blows aimlessly through the fields and town in this way. Then, this time, she heard small footsteps right below the window. The old woman heard this, unlike usual. "Grandma, Grandma," someone was calling. At first, the old woman thought it might be her ears, and she stopped moving her hands. "Grandma, open the window, please," someone called out again. Wondering who it was, the old woman stood and opened the window. Outside, the pale light of the moon was shining brightly, like daytime. A not-so-tall man was standing under the window, looking up. The man was wearing black glasses and had a beard. "I don't know you. Who are you?" the old woman asked. Looking at the unfamiliar man's face, the old woman wondered if he had come to the wrong house. "I am an eyeglass seller. I have many different pairs of glasses. This is my first time in this town, but it is a very pleasant and beautiful town. The moon is beautiful tonight, so I am selling them," said the man. The old woman's eyesight was blurred and she was often having trouble threading the needle, so she asked, "Do you have any glasses that will fit my eyes and help me see clearly?" The man opened the lid of the box he was carrying. Then, he picked out a pair of glasses that would suit the old woman, and eventually took out a pair of large, tortoiseshell-rimmed glasses and handed them to the old woman, who had stuck her head out of the window. "I guarantee that with these, you will be able to see clearly through anything," said the man. On the ground at the man's feet, below the window, various flowers and plants in white, red, and blue were blooming and fragrant in the moonlight. The old woman tried on the glasses. She then tried to read the numbers on the alarm clock and the letters on the calendar, and was able to make out every single letter clearly. The old woman thought that perhaps the girl herself, a few decades earlier, must have been able to see everything so clearly. The old woman was overjoyed. "Oh, give me these," she said, and immediately bought the glasses. After she handed over the money, the bearded man wearing the black glasses and selling glasses walked away. When the man was out of sight, only the flowers and plants were still fragrant in the night air, as before. The old woman closed the window and sat back in her original place. This time she was able to thread the needle with ease. The old woman put on and took off her glasses. Just like a child, it was strange and she wanted to try out different things, and also because she usually doesn't come over and suddenly put on glasses and it changed her appearance. The old woman took off her glasses again. She put them on the shelf next to the alarm clock and went to tidy up her work, as it was quite late now and she decided to go to bed. At this moment, there was again a loud knock on the outside door. The old woman tilted her ears. What a strange night. It seems someone has come again. It's been so long already, the old woman said, and looked at the clock. Although it was moonlit outside, it was already quite late. The old woman stood up and went to the entrance. She heard a cute knocking sound as if someone was knocking with their small hands. It's getting so late, the old woman muttered to herself as she opened the door. There stood a beautiful girl of about 12 or 13, her eyes tearing up. I don't know where you're from, but why have you come so late? Quote, the old woman asked incredulously. I am employed at a perfume factory in town. Every day, I bottle perfume made from white roses. I come home late at night. After working again tonight, I decided to take a leisurely stroll. Because the moon was beautiful, but I tripped over a stone and hurt my finger so badly. It hurts so much I can't bear it. The blood won't stop. All the houses are now asleep. When I pass by this house, the old woman is still awake. I know that you are a kind, gentle, and good person. That's why I felt like knocking on the door, said the beautiful girl with long hair. The old woman felt that the smell of the fine perfume had permeated the girl's body, and she felt a strong stench in her nose as she spoke. So then, do you know me? She asked. I have often passed by this house, and seen you working with needles under the window, the little girl answered. Oh, that's a good girl. Now, show me your injured finger, and I'll give you some medicine, the old woman said. Then she brought the little girl close to the lamp. The little girl showed me her pretty finger. Red blood was flowing from her white finger. Oh, poor thing, she must have scraped it with a stone, the old woman said to herself, but her eyes were blurry and she couldn't see where the blood was coming from. Where are my glasses? She asked, searching on the shelf. She found her glasses near the alarm clock, so she put them on and decided to take a good look at the little girl's wound. The old woman put on her glasses to get a better look at the face of the beautiful girl who had often passed in front of her house. Then the old woman was astonished. It was not a girl, but a beautiful kochu. The old woman remembered a story that on such calm moonlit nights, kochu often transform into humans and visit houses where people are up late at night. The kochu had hurt its leg. Be a good girl, come over here, the old woman said gently. Then the old woman walked ahead of the girl, out the door and around to the flower garden at the back. The little girl followed the old woman in silence. In the garden, all kinds of flowers were in full bloom. During the day, the place was bustling with butterflies and bees. But now it was completely quiet and they seemed to be resting in the shade of the leaves, dreaming happy dreams. Just the pale light of the moon flowed like water. In the hedge over there, white wild roses were blooming in piles like snow. Where did my daughter go? The old woman suddenly stopped and turned around, asking. The little girl had followed behind, but before she knew it, she had vanished without a sound of footsteps. Good night, everyone. I'll go to bed too, said the old woman, and went inside the house. It really was a beautiful moonlit night. That's that.